WLToys design. Oh, hello, sir. Oh, you know me, working hard. The new designs? Coming along nicely. Yeah, you should definitely have them by... today? No. Of course I hadn't forgotten. No, sir, let me just find them on the old computer here. Got so much work open on here. No, sir, I'm still here. Yep, found them. I'm sending you the designs now. Alright, they're on their way. Okay, bye. Phew, nearly dodged a bullet there. Oh, shit. Or at least that's how I imagined the WLToys Q333 came about. But let's put the design aside for now. The WLToys Q333 is a brushed, geared, toy-grade quadcopter currently retailing for between $100 and $150 depending on the version, of which there are three. A 5.8 GHz FPV version, B, a Wi-Fi FPV version, and C, a 720p camera version, which is the one I'll be reviewing. $100 for the most basic version feels steep compared to similar existing models. Does the Q333 offer anything that justifies this higher price point? Let's find out. Welcome to the review and flight test of the Inspire 1, Q333 quadcopter from WLToys. Let's not beat around the bush, but start off by addressing the elephant in the room. Yes, the design of the Q333 is very obviously and quite shamelessly ripped off the DJI Inspire 1. I don't know how or even if WLToys is getting away with it, though this review seems proof they are, but make no mistake, the similarities pretty much ends there. While the Inspire 1 is a $2,000 plus heavily assisted brushless platform aimed at professional aerial photographers, the Q333 is a $100 toy, brushed, geared, and without all but the most basic of flight conveniences. With a mind-boggling 20:1 price ratio, it's like comparing the features of a helium balloon to those of a space station. Clone or not, it can't be denied that the Q333 looks both cooler and more sophisticated than it should have any right to given its price. I'm sure it doesn't have the same premium finish as the real deal, but that's not to say it feels cheap. If you're looking to impress as cheaply as possible, and what classy person don't, look no further. And in WLToys' defense, they have actually added a few touches themselves. The lights, for example, have been moved and made bigger versus the original. I should mention the Q333 is big, with more than 400mm motor-to-motor distance and huge 9-inch props. Its closest relative is probably the Kaiden K70. Like the K70, it also uses a 2 cells in series 2000 mAh capacity battery, but unfortunately it's proprietary with both a special casing and connector. I feel inclined to give it a pass this time though, as it feels motivated by the design. There's also no on-off switch or button, which would have been appreciated. At 600 something grams including battery, the craft do have some reassuring weight to it, but doesn't feel particularly robust and do flex a little when handled. The arms themselves could be carbon fiber, but other critical components are entirely plastic. Just like the Inspire 1, the Q333 can transform, raising and lowering itself in relation to its arms. The use case isn't as clear-cut here as on the Inspire 1, where I understand this was mainly a way to keep the arms from obstructing the view for the rotatable camera, but impressive and novel nonetheless. It has 3 positions I'm going to call landing, neutral and flying, which can be switched between using a dedicated button on the transmitter. I'll talk more about the feature in relation to flying in the flight test portion of the review. For now, I'd just like to mention that it's a bit annoying having only one button for 3 positions, as it means you often have to cycle through one you don't want in order to get to the one you do want. The transmitter chip with the Q333 should look familiar to owners of all but the smallest, cheapest WLToys multirotors. It's a conventional Mode 2 hobby-grade style transmitter with a couple of extra buttons and a small backlit display that shows current trims, rate and the like. Overall, I find it perfectly fine. My only complaint is that because WLToys has assigned each of the 4 rates a separate button, there are not enough buttons to go around for headless mode and return to home, resulting in an annoying long press, short press workaround. My Q333, the camera model, just to reiterate, came with the already mentioned transmitter and battery, a spare set of propellers, a wall charger, an instruction manual, and a USB microSD memory card reader, though no actual memory card. Note that for sake of compactness, the propellers do not come pre-mounted. You'll have to do this yourself, but it's an easy enough process covered by the manual. All big geared quadcopters tend to fly pretty much the same, and the WLToys Q333 is no exception. Very stable. I wouldn't call it sporty. Despite 4 rates, there's not much variation on offer in terms of pitch and practically none in terms of yaw, but I wouldn't call it sluggish either. Getting off the ground or maintaining altitude at full pitch is no problem, but some factors, probably its relative high weight and sizable props, seem to make it more prone to vortex ring state than your average craft. Probably due to the flexing and supposedly more fragile construction, WLToys has ditched flips this time around in favor of the ability to transform. As stated earlier, it's a neat looking feature and works as well in air as on the ground, but at least this reviewer doesn't notice any difference between the position in terms of flight characteristics. The Q333 uses an interesting setup of brushed motors, gear reduction and big propellers. Flight times are good though, clocking in at nearly 10 minutes, which almost justifies the 3 hours it takes to charge with the included charger. There's a 30-second or so low voltage cutoff warning, which should give you enough time to get the quadcopter back on the ground before the motors cut out. Speaking of motors cutting out, this happens almost immediately when the signal is lost, which is a good failsafe in case you fly out of range. If you fly by line of sight, this isn't likely to happen though. I've flown mine as far away as I can and still make out its heading, probably right up until the advertised 100 meters with no issues. The built-in camera looks like it has a downward slant, but it's actually pointing pretty much straight ahead. It captures video at 720p resolution, and while the results have decent detail, color and no excessive jello effect, the footage is the kind I'd feel I had to apologize for rather than want to show off. Decent, but no match even for the more affordable standalone cameras from the likes of Mobius, OneCam or Foxeer. This brings me to a broader problem with the Q333. Many people buy these really big multirotors with the intent to, either straight away or down the line, attach stuff, like FPV equipment or said action cameras to it. But in the case of the Q333, neither design nor, I suspect, spare payload capacity really supports this. Few even surfaces for mounting, little ground clearance, proprietary connectors. Suffice to say, the Q333 is probably best, or at least easiest enjoyed as is. In conclusion, I have no hesitation calling the WLToys Q333 technically satisfactory. It certainly shouldn't be compared to the DJI Inspire 1 in terms of functionality, but what it does, for the most part, it does well. Whether it's a good match for you comes down to higher level considerations. How do you feel about the completely ripped off look? The purpose-specific design that makes it impractical to modify? Or the perhaps not super exciting flight characteristics and lack of flips? Problem? Or no problem? Thank you for watching my review of the WLToys Q333. I hope I answered your questions. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I make somewhat regular videos about toy-grade multirotors like quadcopters and hexacopters. If you're into that sort of thing, consider subscribing to keep posted of new reviews and whatnot. You may also click the thumbnails to keep watching. Alright, see you soon in another review. Bye!